I understand master morality like this. Uh, it is that you exist in of yourself. You are not separated from other people necessarily, but you don't allow them to affect you in any negative way. This sounds may sound strange because obviously someone can affect my life, but you don't create situations that will make sure that people will affect your life in any counterproductive way. For instance, let's take the goth kids from South Park. Uh, well, those are a parody of people who want to be on the fringe constantly. The problem with them is that they go around and call everyone conformist. Conformist, not like these conformists. The strange thing is that if the conformists change their opinions and practices and norms, then the goth kids would have to change too, because otherwise they would be probably end up not being the opposite of the mainstream, so to speak. And the problem with this is that this means that when the conformists do something else, then the goth kids have to follow what the conformists are doing. In other words, their identity is connected to the, how do you say, actions and movements of the normies, and that's what's called slave morality. They don't have a strong identity in of their own, because their identity is based upon the identity of someone else. So if the conformists were to just go away one day, what would the goth kids do? Because they are, for a large part, a reflection upon the normies. And the problem with that is that their identity is weak, and at some point, and some part of them must understand this, that it's fake. And this brings us to another thing that really seems prevalent today. It has probably been prevalent for a long time, but today many people are able to just exist in a cuddled sphere, bubble, whatever you like to call it. You can ignore reality today in a way that probably was very rare in the past. I guess if you were some prince or really, really, really rich person of a really, really rich family, you could be like that. You could be super sheltered constantly and just invent problems that weren't really real, if you know what I mean. And people seem to find reasons that they are oppressed. It's like a damn contest, like, oh, those people aren't oppressed. I'm more oppressed than you are. I'm a much better person than you because I am more oppressed. And this creates a really nasty situation where people start to have contests in failure, basically. And the strange thing is that when people have really fringe types of feelings of victimization, like they will go like, but I'm not like those people. Those people are fake victims. I have this real strange victimization that people don't know about because there's a conspiracy. Sure, there might be conspiracies, but it doesn't help that you go around with a victim mindset about I can't do anything because I'm a victim. We have to get this. Like, do you realize how this create like a mental state where some people having personality disorders and various mental issues will just dive into the victim mentality and perpetuate that victim mentality, spreading like a culture of feeling victimized. And this has been spoken about to length at the Pressure Project, one of my favorite podcasts. You should definitely check that one out, the Pressure Project. And I'm very into strange but practical sciences, and one hypothesis that I'm into, it's not proven, no, it's not proven yet, but it's very interesting, and that's the stuff Rupert Sheldrake talks about, and that is morphic field theory, and you can look into it yourselves. I will not go on about it here, but if morphic field theory holds, only half of it is true. This would mean that if you have a victim mindset, you will train yourself to be a victim. I will repeat, my hypothesis is the more you have a victim mindset, the more you tap in to something that trains you into becoming a victim. And if morphic field theory holds any significant truth to it, this will mean that you, connect to something like a collective unconsciousness of all victims in the fucking world, and maybe even throughout history, thereby amplifying the training effect of being a victim. Yes, you can train yourself to be a victim and increase the likelihood of you being a victim in the future. Be careful. Like, if you are oppressed, if you truly are oppressed, you can prove it empirically and provide the proof for it. Then it's a good thing. You can act on that. You can act while being oppressed, and I'm speaking if you are truly oppressed. You can act on that without having a victim mindset. You do that by not inventing sort of magical reasons for your oppression and blowing, like, if you have an enemy or an opponent, someone trying to destroy you or rob you, what is most beneficial? To just imagine them being omnipowerful supernatural beings. Okay, nice. Then I won't even try to do something about it. I will just lie down and die. or worse yet, you are kind of sane about it, but also very emotional and victim focused, and you think that I will just need to go to the government or some government or something, and they will solve this for me. Like, be really careful about not becoming a fucking victim. And I can go into the biology of victim mindsets in the future. Like, I'm not an expert, I'm just like a renaissance man, just reading and experimenting and thinking a lot about stuff and finding the connections between things like biology, politics, philosophy, and sociology, finding how things relate to each other. And if you're interested about this, I can do videos about this too. So yes, don't be a victim. You don't need to be a victim. I mean, people who want other people to be victims are benefiting from those people becoming victims. Well, have a nice, strong day, strong people. And if I have had any true enemies out there, I hope you are victim-minded. I hope you are so freaking victim-minded that you just won't do anything, just go into depression and just rot away. I don't think I have many enemies, but I might have enemies I don't know about. So yeah, have a nice rot, enemies. Have a nice day, allies and friends.